The PlayStation Store continues to run the PSN Summer Sale, and in this video I want to take a look at games under the price of $5. Now, this is the price threshold where there are a ton of games on sale that I am not completely familiar with, because once you hit that under $5 tier, and really once you go below $7, you start seeing a lot of those indie games, a lot of those low-key titles that I'm familiar with some of them, however a lot of them I haven't played. So what I'm going to try to do in the coming weeks is actually try to pick some of those games up and play them, so I'll be a little bit more informed, and maybe I can talk about those in a specific video in a future video, because there's actually a lot that I'm interested in, even going as low as 99 cents. I believe I saw a game called Ultratron that kind of piqued my interest, a twin-stick shooter, so we'll keep you guys up to date on that. But for now, gonna take you guys through some games under $5, and there's a lot of good ones, so let's get right into it. First things first, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is 75% off for $4.99. This is a game that's pretty well known. This is a adventure game that is very much story driven, and of course when people talk about this game, they usually talk about the emotional narrative that this game has, and yes, it's incredibly emotional. I know a lot of people that cried playing this game. You know, I played it a while back, so I don't remember how I definitely got teary-eyed. I don't think I was full-on bawling though. But if you're looking for something that's very much engrossing from a character standpoint and a story standpoint, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is as good as you're gonna get, and for $5 it really does excel in that story area, but every other facet of the game is also pretty well made, so $5 for this, easy recommendation on that. Next up, we have Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year Edition, which is $4.99. To me, this, alongside a couple of other games in 2014, were the batch of first truly great next-gen titles. Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, while I wouldn't say is as good as Shadow of War, it's still a game that's very much worth playing, and I would even say play Shadow of Mordor before you get to Shadow of War. Great combat system, a good bit of content, but not an overwhelming level of content that it's going to take you, over 100 hours to complete or anything like that. And of course, the Game of the Year Edition does include some additional content, so that's quite nice, and for $5, again, a great pickup here as well. Next up, we have Deep Silver's Agents of Mayhem. Now, Agents of Mayhem kind of got crapped on when it initially released, and kind of rightfully so. $60 it absolutely was not worth. However, at just $4 that it's priced at right now, if you want a game that's a zany open world title, you can have fun with Agents of Mayhem. Obviously, it's going to see its comparisons to Saints Row, and it's not as good as Saints Row, but it still offers that no-nonsense fun that you can just get in. It's a comical experience, and you don't have to take it too seriously, but you can still have a modicum of enjoyment out of it. So Agents of Mayhem, at this price point of $4, I would say go ahead and give it a look. I had fun with it, and I think you guys will too if you want a zany open world title. Next up, .hack.GU Last Recode, 90% off for $4.99. This, honestly, low-key might be the best sale in the entire sale. It might be the best deal in the entire sale, I should say. This is the lowest it's ever been, and $5 for .hack.GU Last Recode is really good if you're a fan of JRPGs. Obviously, this includes all three .hack.GU games, as well as a fourth, a smaller episode that does add a little bit to the story, so that's quite nice. And I had a lot of fun with .hack.GU. I mean, I'm pretty nostalgic with it, given that I bought these games day one on the PlayStation 2 back in the day, and while the games do definitely show their age, stiff animations, not the greatest lip syncing in the world, and things like that, things that are akin to the PlayStation 2 era, I think the good still outweigh the bad. The combat system, I think, is very enjoyable. The story is great. The characters are great. The music is excellent. And while there are a lot of redundant environments, again, the good outweighs the bad, and given all the content you're getting, easily well over 100 hours of gameplay here for $5 from a value standpoint, again, might be one of the best deal in the entire sale, given the amount of hours you're getting per dollar you spend. That's pretty ridiculous for the content. Next up, we have Super Meat Boy, 75% off for $3.74. Another very iconic game, a platformer that is absolutely brutal in difficulty, and I'm not crazy about super difficult platformers. So while I personally didn't enjoy Super Meat Boy as much as some other people, I still attest to the fact that it's a really well-made game, and it's very, very addicting from the standpoint of you really want to just keep playing the game to get through every level, and from that standpoint, I definitely got addicted to it. For $3.74, I would say it's a good buy, and remember, while this game is pretty iconic and a lot of people know about it, it came out all the way back in like 2009 or 2010, so think about the people, and I always like to reference this, that were like 8, 9 years old old, maybe they didn't have any interest in a game like Super Meat Boy back in the day, but if you're a little bit older, you're probably an adult now, you'll want something a little bit more challenging. Super Meat Boy will be right up your alley. Next up, we have the Escapists 2 for $4.99. The Escapists 2 is a game that was really well received back in 2017. Again, another game that has been kind of lost in the shuffle. Obviously, the idea of the game is to escape with a couple of inmates, but there's a lot of strategy and there's a lot of crafting that you have to do to make sure your escape is done as swiftly as possible. And the game has quite a bit of replay value. You've got a lot of different variety in the types of way you can tackle the game as well, and you have cooperative multiplayer in the game as well. So if you're into that and you want to get a couple of friends to pick it up as well, I think you will end up enjoying it. I wouldn't say it's worth the initial $19.99 price point, but at $4.99, it's a game that you can have quite a bit of fun with. Next up, we have Darkest Dungeon, a game that I've talked quite a bit about. This is 80% off for just $4.99, and there is an upgraded version for $7.99, so if you do want some additional stuff, $8 for that version isn't bad at all. Darkest Dungeon is an incredibly challenging roguelike title with turn-based RPG mechanics as well. This is a game that does turn off some people with some of the mechanics in the game, but overall, if you want something that's challenging, if you want something that's rewarding, and you like that, you know, darker setting, that gothic dark fantasy setting, I think Darkest Dungeon is going to be something you really enjoy. And there's a reason why this game was like one of the more popular games when it came out. A lot of people were streaming it, and it got a lot of traction. And if you want another game that has a lot of content for your dollar, Darkest Dungeon is definitely a good one to play. Again, a difficult title, but if you are looking for that roguelike rewarding game, Darkest Dungeon is a great one to check out. Next up, speaking of dark games, Inside by Playdead is 75% off for $4.99. Of course, Playdead, you guys might know them for doing Limbo. That is the game that I feel like everybody and their mother has played, but Inside seemingly got a little bit less traction, but I honestly think Inside is even better than Limbo. It is the same in the sense that it's portrayed in a very dark environment, and the gameplay at the surface might look pretty simple, and honestly, it is kind of simple. It has that puzzle platforming aspect, but when you talk about a darker narrative, Inside absolutely has that. Now, if you're one of the few people that has not played Limbo, they do have an Inside and Limbo bundle for $7, so you can try that out. On top of that, they have an Inside free trial. You can try that out if you want, but the game has gotten a overwhelmingly vast positive reception by pretty much everyone that plays it, and if you enjoyed Limbo, I think you're going to enjoy Inside as well. Maybe my opinion of Inside being better than Limbo is a bit controversial, but I'm going to very much stand by that, as I thought Inside was a very well-made game. Next up, I want to give a shout to Dead Island Definitive Collection. Let's bring back Dead Island a little bit. Maybe if enough people buy the Dead Island Definitive Collection, Dead Island 2 will see a little bit more smooth of a development cycle. Who knows what's going on with that game, but Dead Island Definitive Collection does include both Dead Island as well as Dead Island Riptide. Now, it has to be said that the upgrade that Dead Island Definitive Collection is, it's nothing to write home about. You guys shouldn't even see this as that much of an improved version, really just the two titles in one collection, but both of them for $4.49 is a pretty darn good deal. And while I would say that a lot of games have evolved past what Dead Island offered, there's still a lot of fun to be had, and I think you guys will get a kick out of it. Given that it's so cheap at $4.49, you're getting two games at essentially $2.24 a piece, if my math is correct, something like that, $2.24 and a half. And it does have some upgrades like resolution and things like that, but really nothing that is far too different from the original releases. But again, from a pricing standpoint, absolutely, you know, super cheap. And again, another game that for the content you're getting quite a few hours of gameplay for your dollar, so not a bad pickup here as well. And lastly, I do want to give a shout to ABZÜ, which is published by 505 Games, but done by the developers that also worked on games such as Flower, Journey, and a lot of those more relaxing games that have a lot of focus on the art direction. And ABZÜ has that absolutely as well. It's a relaxing and more atmospheric game that really tries to absorb you into this underwater experience. Great sound direction, great art design. Those elements of the game are rock solid. Don't expect anything crazy from a gameplay standpoint, but if you want to chill out and play a game that, you know, isn't going to be too much of a stressor, you know, maybe you played a bit too much of Bloodborne for one night and you want to chill out with a game like ABZÜ, this is a game that I found very tranquil to play like late at night, right before bed. I just completely zone out and relax and get immersed into this game. That's the type of audience that ABZÜ can really attract, and I think you guys will end up enjoying it. But that is going to wrap it up for me. Again, a lot of games under the price of $5, a lot of quality deals. This is the area where there are so many games. Like, I went through every single page of the PlayStation Store, and I found game after game. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool, and it's 99 cents. That looks kind of cool, and it's $3. So I'm gonna try to play some more of those games, you know. Gonna be busy with Neo The World Ends With You tomorrow, so, you know, some of these games are gonna have to take a backseat, but gonna try to blitz through Neo World Ends With You. I want to play Samurai Warriors 5. So kind of a bad time to embark on this quest to play some of these lower key titles, but yeah, we'll try to make do with what we can. That's gonna wrap it up for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, links to everything in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.